Craftsman Days are here at Lowe's with big savings on the tools you need. Save $100 on the Craftsman V20 6-Tool Power Tool Combo Kit, now at $199. No matter what the project is, Craftsman's high-quality, high-performance products empower you to build on. Stop by your nearest Lowe's store and check out the full line of Craftsman tools today. Valid through 6/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Welcome to the sanctuary where good pods happen. This is your season 49 winner,
Kristen.
Oh my goodness, Jonathan Wright and Kristen Wright. We've also got Mr. PD Bachman here. Hey, shout out again to Mary for letting us use her beautiful singing pipes at the beginning of every sanctuary.
Mary doing our theme song, it's still awesome. Every single week. It is
awesome. Not only that, but I mean, it's not just awesome because of like it being her, but the song feels like the sanctuary, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
it feels better than the sanctuary.
Like if her song sucked, I wouldn't want to play it every single week, but Mary's amazing.
Definitely better than whatever we were using before.
Yeah, what were we using before?
We were using royalty-free island music.
Tropic.
Yeah, Tropic number 1.
Yeah. So Jonathan is the host today. I'm the guest, okay? Because this is off-season PD. I'm phoning it in until 49.
So, I mean, I guess my first question for you, PD, as the guest on this podcast is, how did it feel to lose to me technically this season?
I, in the lead up to this, had been texting Chase, like, I'm going to be so angry when Jonathan wins. And the reason he wins is because of Kristen. When like we have a pretty good sample size to know that Jonathan has done really bad on his own, and then all of a sudden,
okay, you say giant sample size. It's been maybe is it 3 times?
We've been
this
doing
was
this
the 4th.
Since...
That's what I'm saying.
All of us
it's 3 losses, 1 win. Now, how many times has Chase lost?
He's lost the same.
That's what I'm saying. So maybe it was just my turn, okay?
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah,
I feel like in baseball, if somebody's really bad for 3 seasons, they usually don't get a 4th, you know?
Yeah.
But it's not like we can't cut you for somebody else. We're stuck with you.
That's why I drafted Kristen in on my team, because I thought, well, if I don't get this season into gear, then I'm probably not going to get signed for the next one, you know?
There was some joint effort. I mean, I'm pretty sure Jonathan was going really hard for Joe, and he did end up in the final 3, and he got a vote.
Yeah, no regrets there. I mean, Joe is a saint.
He might be back in our lives next year. We'll see about that.
Well, look out. Season 50 is looking like it's going to be a pretty big deal. I don't know if you know that, PD. Have you thought about it?
I have thought about it a little bit.
Okay.
You know? And I think next Wednesday, I'm going to be waking up at 7 a.m. I've avoided the spoilers. I'm going to do it. I'm going to set an alarm, and I'm going to wake up. And I'm going to see who it is live. I hope it's Gail, because it's the CBS morning show.
Oh, dude. Yeah. That would be a lot of fun. You could be like, is she doing it from space? Imagine if she had just stayed up there through it, you know?
She's going to be like, these Survivor players are awesome, but none of them have been to space. So, like, who's the real star here?
She's like, I'm going to cheer for the one who was in a spaceship the most recently. None of them? Oh, okay. What in the world?
Let's get Gail on Survivor.
Yeah, I would love to see Gail on Survivor leave as the first person on Survivor. Oh, man. But, PD, it does feel weird, no episode this week. Feels kind of strange.
Yeah, it is a little bit weird. I mean, I'm kind of relieved, to be honest.
Yeah,
it's been hustling.
Yeah, it's been a lot of work. That's why I'm phoning it in for the off-season, and that's why Jonathan is the host today. I kind of feel like you, Jonathan, right now.
Well, and to tell you how well it went that you put me as the host, I fumbled the first intro and we had to do it again for the sanctuary. So things are not always what they seem.
Y'all are about to experience Jonathan just totally winging it.
Yeah, I'll be straight up. PD, you told me to do the intro, and then I got in here and you said you're the host, and I said, that's interesting. This is the first I'm hearing of it.
This is where good pods happen. This is the
I
sanctuary.
can handle that.
Yes.
Don't ask me about any challenges or anything like that. Just ask me where the good times are.
Yes. Because, like I said, it's the sanctuary. It's where good pods happen. A good pod's happening right now. And I got to let Jonathan get the at-bat, He's got to get a few reps in.
Hey, speaking of good things, though, PD, I'm going to say something good. I mean, we had more patrons arrive today. I don't know if you saw those emails come in, but I think we had 3,
And that means we're really close to our goal of getting Chase to drop that horrible song.
Really close. What was that goal again? I can't remember.
Was 40.
What was the actual number?
Because
40?
When we set the number, we had 20 patrons, and Bram was like, "If we can double it, we'll release the song." And we're close.
In fact, I'm gonna look real quick. We're gonna get a quick look-see, dude. Okay. Oh, PD, we're at 37 paid patrons.
We're 3 patrons away.
We're 3 patrons away. So for the mere cost of $15 total from people, they could hear Chase embarrass himself.
Yeah, I really want this song out there, so I'm going to be transparent here and say, if you want to join just to let us hit the number and then immediately cancel your subscription, that's fine.
Yeah, we won't hate it.
We just want this song out there.
Leave it up, be there for a month, hang out with us, hear the song, and if you cancel, that's fine. But we want everyone to stay because the live chats were so fun, and we've got plans for the off season and all that good stuff. But 37, we're right there at it, PD.
Yeah, and this is kind of the first show of the off season.
Yeah, yeah, you can tell because we haven't really talked about it.
It's just been meandering, but that's fine.
Yeah, we've just been like, how many are here? Oh, 37, that's crazy.
Look, this is a good pod. It's where good pods are happening. It's where Jonathan got thrown to the wolves at the last minute.
The wolves?
I just thought it would be funny.
Well, I'm okay with it. I mean, considering this past week, I texted you and said I barely remember what I said on the episode. I think this is my redemption arc.
This.
Did I?
Yeah,
know.
you were like, I gotta talk more.
No, I didn't ask for that. This is outrageous.
All right, so talk. Come on, talk, Jonathan.
All right. So
okay. So I would talk about the after show if there was anything to talk about. PD, am I right?
Yeah. So I would consider all of us Survivor optimists. We look for the silver lining and stuff. We don't just hate on the show all the time.
No.
But we universally hate this after show, like immediate after show thing.
Yeah. Well, and I think even this season, I think demonstrated one of the reasons that I didn't like it, which was I genuinely kind of felt bad that Eva lost immediately and then had to kind of deal with losing so fast, especially considering the fact that she has autism and has a hard time kind of regulating some of that. I did feel bad for her that it was kind of hard to come back from it. So I feel like having a little bit of a buffer to a live show, it would have given her at least time to be in, I don't know, kind of the moment a little bit more and not feel as panicked.
I mean, absolutely. I think back to when Kinsey and Kristen broke my heart and Charlie lost.
Dude,
the pain on Charlie's face, I was like, this is such a bummer for him to have to sit there, and they bring out the pizza and the champagne, and they all have to act like it's a good time.
Yeah, you gotta
turn
it around so fast, all your hopes and dreams.
And you're not even well rested either. That's more so, because obviously she would have had to have found out live and then have to talk about it right then. But it's way different when you've just been out there with zero good sleep and worn out, you're hungry, you're just desperately wanting this thing, and then all of a sudden you're in an interview show. So I just feel like them being able to go home and get rest and then come back in front of an audience, it kind of is it just fuels you to have a little bit of a better time than just all of a sudden losing.
Can we dig a little deeper into the pizza and champagne aspect of this? What a combo!
Yeah, why not?
Why? Yeah. Do you think those two things
thinking
would taste good? together? I don't know.
Isn't it Italians? They say that it's wine and pizza that go together. Americans say it's beer and pizza that go together, and Jeff Probst says it's champagne and pizza.
Yeah, and Mary had the whole bottle of champagne.
Yeah, she was hanging on there. You know, it was. I mean, maybe we'll get a song out of it. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, if the watch parties are any indication, Mary has a good time.
Yeah,
I just saw today on her story where she was doing karaoke with some of the other castmates.
nothing says a good time quite like karaoke with castmates. That's what I always say.
Was it Mitch? Was she doing karaoke with Mitch?
Yes, 100% at a gay bar.
Yeah, that's awesome.
It's just hanging out, dude. Look, here's what's interesting though is that I feel like talking about Mitch, there was a statement made about Mitch in the after show that shocked me.
Oh, I wrote it down. Yes.
Do you know what it is? Do you have it?
Okay, I said I was phoning it in, but I couldn't help myself. I had to write down a few things.
Giving yourself away.
Even phoning it in, I'm like, oh, that means he only has one page of notes. Please say what Jeff said about Mitch.
So when I wrote it down, I said, this is a quote I have to write down. I don't know.
Well, I'm glad you said that, yeah.
Yeah. So Jeff said, Mitch, I think you're going to have a lot of people going, wow, he can play the game. He's one of my favorite Survivor players.
That, I think, I don't want to say that Jeff is caught in the hype and out of touch, but Kristen and I were...
What hype?
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, like there was no hype around Mitch. Man, dang, Kristen, that's crazy.
Well, when you're out there, like, I guess Jeff is creating the hype. He doesn't know how people are going to react.
Yeah.
Which does kind of make you wonder what kind of ended up on the editing room floor for Mitch. Because, you know, Jeff, like, sees all of it.
Well, he probably saw like, how Mitch was in the beginning. And like we were all really high on Mitch until the make a move thing.
Yeah, but it just kind of makes you wonder if they ended up focusing so hard on like Camilla and Kyle, obviously due to the win, and Joe and Eva because of how tense it was there at the end, that the editors didn't show maybe more of Mitch trying to have conversations, because he talked about making big moves, but they never happened. It could be that he threw them out there.
I don't know. I mean, why are you trying to make Chase feel better right now?
Well, no, I'm trying to make myself feel better about Jeff saying the most outrageous thing in the after show I've ever heard.
I thought you were trying to like hype up Mitch on Chase's behalf right now or something. I'm like,
no,
we don't care about Chase.
No, Chase isn't here. He's on vacation where good things happen still, I guess. But it's, you know, I don't care how he feels about this right now. So, but yeah, when he said that, Kristen and I were kind of both like, why would he say that he's one of the more strategic and a fan favorite?
Yeah, I don't know. I guess Jeff just didn't have the right read on it. I think he just saw Mitch as a really likable guy. Jeff hasn't been hanging out in Survivor Twitter.
Yeah. Oh, man. Dang. Anything else? Okay, I guess since I'm driving this boat.
Well,
I have a few notes, but what do you want to say, Kristen?
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, you really left me out to dry there for a second.
I was just thinking about things that stuck out to me with the after show. And they were talking about how, like, if Camilla had been sitting there, she would have won over
Yeah, that was a
Kyle.
big deal.
Yeah, I called that one the dagger to my heart because they all pretty much just like nodded their heads like, yeah, that is
They
what would have
raised
happened.
their hands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
they're like,
Camilla really, overall, she did have a better game than Kyle because they played the same game, except that Kyle was in a majority 6 alliance for like over half the game.
yeah, exactly.
And Camilla was just scraping by with the underdogs.
And Kyle was not the best liar either.
No. But I think that even just thinking back on the season a little bit, Kyle played a really good social game, even though he had some like hiccups. Like,
yeah, that's
he was
true.
very likable, and you never heard anyone throw his name out there other than David when he got suspicious of him and Camilla. Like, which I'm sure he felt completely justified in that during the actual vote. But, you know, I think that Kyle played a great middle of the road thing. Now,
But about
thing
Kyle, I was going to say, when
it.
Jeff asked him about like how it felt to win, he couldn't even answer. That goes back to what we were talking about, like, with the emotions being too fresh. He started to break down because he's like, I don't know how to process this. It happened to me like 5 seconds ago, Jeff.
Yeah.
Well, and it's like, I know that that's still the case in the live show, but again, they're well rested. They've been home. They have time to kind of like think about the game a little bit, like think back on things and just get a little bit of post-Survivor clarity. So it's, kind of just thinking that through. But the thing I noticed, and Kristen and I discussed, was that every question that Jeff asked in this, it kind of felt like a high school yearbook. Like, who's most likely to succeed? Like, who's most likely to be in an alliance? Who's most likely to talk to the castmates after this?
You're not going to believe this. I have those too.
Really?
We're really grasping at straws with this after show.
Yeah.
Okay,
I'm like, wow, there were a grand total of 6 things for us to talk about, and we're talking about them. That's crazy.
So, okay, they said Shaheen would be most likely to engage with people online.
Yeah.
I forgot who said that, but I think they seemed like they agreed. Which, I mean,
Kyle
he did
said that
a little bit.
Yeah.
Kyle was the one who said it.
I was kind of even confused about Shaheen's answer, though. I couldn't figure out what he meant by it. Because he said, like, he wouldn't argue with someone about his own game, but he would talk to someone that was hating on themselves or hating on others.
The other players.
Okay.
He did do that with Johnny Fairplay.
Dang, that's true.
Wait, what happened?
Oh, Kristen, you don't listen to the podcast when you're not on it.
We literally had an episode titled Shaheen versus Fairplay.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I must have been
our own local hero
busy that day.
went against Kyle went against Shaheen and about Say. Is that correct? Was that who he was raging out about?
Oh.
And he was basically saying she sucked.
Fairplay was like, she sucks, and then Shaheen was like, hey, you suck, don't say that, blah blah blah, this, she's great. And then Fairplay was like, hey man, I'm just, and he completely backtracked the whole thing. He cowered it out. So he said, look, my grandma's dead over there, and just to get away from it.
Hey, we've dunked on Fairplay a little bit. I just want to say, hey, Johnny Fairplay, if you want to come on the show, I think you're welcome on the show.
He would be welcome on the show. I would hang out with Fairplay.
Yeah, I mean, he could come to your house. You guys live so close.
I don't know about that.
yeah, dude. I mean, just maybe
Fairplay. My address it.
No, give Lizzie to the grandparents and then have Fairplay come over. You don't want Fairplay around the baby.
Yeah, my parents will be like, "Hey, what's happening? Why are we watching? Your daughter?" And I'll be like, "Well, it's okay. Johnny Fairplay's coming over."
Yeah, Johnny Fairplay brought a keg of beer to our house, and we don't want Lizzie around.
He said we can't have any. It was weird. But yeah, no, I mean, that kind of is true that Shaheen kind of went that route a little bit.
Kyle called that one.
So we'll check that one off the list, Petey. We've talked about that topic now.
And then we've got one more thing about the most likely
the bottom. Yeah,
dude, this sanctuary is scraping the bottom of the barrel. I mean, we all know how lame this after show was, especially after watching it again.
Yeah, I told Jonathan, I was like, it's an after show that matches the season.
It was so lame that I looked at Kristen and said, I don't remember if I watched the after show. Did I fall asleep? And she said, we just stopped it. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I watched the rest of it, and I was like, I still feel like I didn't watch it after show.
Yeah, no, when I texted y'all earlier, I didn't watch it until 7 o'clock today. I didn't rewatch it. And when I said that I didn't remember any of it, I meant it. And I watched the whole thing. But I was in the chat, and I was still processing, kind of like Kyle. I was processing his win, and I wasn't ready to be like pizza champagne time.
Yeah.
The thing that's sticking out to me, we'll see if I've got the same thing that's on your notes, PD. Okay, so this is almost like our game for the day. I want to talk about David. Is that what your last note is?
The milk.
I have it in there. Yeah.
There's 2 things with David.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was gonna let PD
I thought you were gonna keep talking. Sorry. Okay, so I just wrote down milk, because that's what Jeff said when he was introing it. And I need to clip that so we can just have that to play sometimes. Jeff going, milk. And then Jeff brings out some milk.
He does bring out some milk. When he said milk like that, it made me think of that Pete Davidson thing that went around where he was like, bacon, when he was doing a Zoom interview. Anyway, that's just the first thing I think of.
I bet 2 people are going to know what you're talking about.
Yeah, I'll explain it very quickly for you, and then I'll send it to you, PD. There is a moment where Pete Davidson's being interviewed via Zoom, and then his Zoom locks up, right? Like he's frozen. So the interviewer is just like, "Hey Pete, are you there?" And then it like unfreezes suddenly, and all he's doing is like eating a piece of bacon, and he says, "Bacon, bacon, bacon," and that's it. So
okay.
that was worth it for the podcast.
I think that was worth it. This is the off season, baby.
I'm in charge. Yeah.
So the other part of the milk thing was that David says that if you want to be masculine, you have to drink it with your elbow at a 90-degree angle.
That's like
I would love to get y'all's thoughts on that as men.
I hate him all over again. I was starting to like him again, and now I'm like, I don't want to listen to anything else he says.
It was more confusing because I was like, is it just milk that you have to drink at a 90-degree angle, or is it everything? Is that like...
That's a lot of stress on your
be
elbow over time, or I don't want to be doing this all day.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, he's a stunt man for a reason. He probably goes in and like lifts his elbow a little bit more for everybody when they don't want to do it
themselves. Like having the elbow at a 90-degree angle does create more intensity. That kind of goes with David's whole personality. Like I can like picture someone in a movie just like, down in a glass of milk.
I just find it a little contradictory that David is like, hey, if you want to drink this food made for babies like a man, you got to put your elbow at 90 degrees.
Well, I just think like what he seems to imply that there's something wrong with drinking it at a 45-degree angle because it's feminine. So why is it wrong to drink milk in a feminine way then, if that's the case?
So what? What if my arm's tired, David?
Yeah.
Like, what if I've had a long
Jeff
day?
On the spot about it,
What if I want to embrace my feminine energy when I'm drinking my 2% milk?
Yeah, I mean, or your orange juice, your Polish vodka. Yeah,
that's
like
right.
it's.
Oh, I need to say something about that. My dad sent me a text that says, "Don't become an alcoholic," because my dad listens to all the shows. So he thought my mini bottle of Tito's bit about Camilla. He thought Camilla losing the season really sent me over the edge.
And then
this could be the start of your downward spiral.
Just and it's like I texted you right after you sent that to me, and since your dad's listening, I'll tell him right now. So all I'm saying is that my complete teetotaling cancels yours out if you do get too drunk, PD.
Yeah. Which, the other funny part about that bit is I took 2 sips, Bran took 1 sip, and then I dumped the rest out in Bran's sink.
So some would say the sink was the one that really partied that night.
Yeah, that's true. All right, let's talk about this riveting after show, guys. I got another thing here. So Joe said Mitch is the most likely to throw the first watch party because because Mitch is humble, but there's a wild badger underneath those jorts.
I do remember him saying that. Yeah, that was... Now, can we confirm, did Mitch have the first watch party?
I have no idea. I doubt it. But I think Mitch did them locally every week. So I think they all did that.
Good for him.
Much.
Yeah, that's awesome. What a fun thing to do.
Yeah.
We didn't get an invite, but maybe in the future.
We didn't, we know, I mean, we're not going to put anyone on blast, but there's this one after party around us that we really would have wanted to be at. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean, it would have been pretty cool, and we could have maybe gotten an exam and checkup while we were there.
Yeah, it's true. Could have played some mini golf, done some axe throwing.
Yeah, whoa. Hey, dude, to axe throw and play mini golf with Cedric, dude, that'd be pretty fun.
I would be scared for my life.
Yeah.
I mean, that's true.
But, I mean, at the same time...
He'd throw the axe and it'd land a foot in front of him, Yeah,
do we want to be around Cedric with axes when we kind of antagonized him a little bit on our show?
We did. And I antagonized him a little bit in the group chat today because I texted and said I was looking at follower counts for people on the season just to see what people were getting... who people were getting really excited for. Pretty much everyone had... over, I'll say 12,000 followers, but it went on up to like 100 plus. Cedric had 5,000 followers.
Which I think is a shame because Cedric jury updates are hilarious.
His were great. See, I was a little surprised when I went and saw it because I was like, I feel like there was a lot of talk around Cedric, and he also was updating people.
Can I say something very controversial, maybe? I don't know if it will be, but...
Okay.
I think if I could pick somebody from this cast to be on 50, a guy from this cast, I'll be more specific, I would pick Cedric.
I think I
would love to
too.
hear more about that.
I think he's the most personable, and he would be a good time to watch. Now, hear me out.
You
We
think
put
he's
Cedric.
the most personable?
He's definitely more of the personality that I would want to see.
Yeah, because like he gave it his all, and his all wasn't great, but it made for some really good TV.
Yeah, give him a second shot. You know,
It's true.
I think
Okay.
Yeah,
I was
we're
gonna
onto
say maybe
something.
bring Thomas back before Cedric, but I would like to see Cedric play again.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think in some ways Cedric probably he didn't get like a good shot at it for some reason. You know, it's never seemed like it was working out for him.
Well, he was
challenges
trying.
were a struggle. Yeah, I admire how much he attempted things, and he did not give up. So
Yeah,
you
I
gotta
mean,
give
in the
it to
first part of the game, he did pretty good socially, to where he somehow was the decision maker all the time.
him. Dude,
So-
I forgot about
Yeah,
it.
that's
Feels like
crazy.
a long season somehow. I'm like, that feels like last year that happened.
And he made it to the jury.
Now, second thing I want to bring up, or not a second thing, we've brought up more than two things about this,
Yeah.
but we'll call it one of the second things, is David, he did his whole knock-knock joke, and everybody was like,
Yeah.
okay. And Jeff kind of addressed it, that even he was looking over at David, and David's mewing his face, and he was kind of like, what's with this guy? Like, he needs to get over it. Did you hear him say that?
Yeah, which that brings me to, that means one of my predictions was correct.
Yeah,
we need
yeah.
to revisit all those predictions we made, because I don't
Wait,
remember
what was
all
your
of them.
what was your prediction? I
My
don't remember.
prediction was somebody was going to do something that made Jeff annoyed.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
and
That's
it
good.
happened.
I mean,
Jonathan checked off the ones he
I-
predicted. Well, we did
there are
it.
some that I don't remember.
We called it the
Right.
Shot in the Dark Challenge, and then we forgot all about it.
I did not get the one right about Chrissy getting a letter from a loved one, and then there's like I said, there's just some others I don't
And then
remember.
you had the 0 vote finalist one, that nobody would be a 0 vote finalist.
There wouldn't
You
be a
nailed
zero
that.
vote. Yeah, nailed that one. There's something where it says Eva betrays like a girls' alliance. I don't think there was one that she went against.
Because there was no formal girls alliance.
She never.
Yeah, there was
she
never-
never went
better.
outside of her alliance with Joe.
Yeah. Wow.
Like if I did the all-female draft and there was no female alliance this season.
If you
It's
ask me, there's too many people drinking with 90-degree elbows out there on the island this season.
yeah, I think so. So
Could have used some 45-degree angles.
I have a note. I have one more note on the after show. I think maybe I have a
How?
couple more, but how is a good question. Eva said hammock again. I felt like that was worth noting.
Yeah.
I actually asked Jonathan after we heard it for the second time.
Let's Google it. This is a sanctuary. We can get lost
Yeah.
in a rabbit hole.
Ooh, tell you what, let me pull up Google.
Wait, she's from
And-
Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So if
that
I type
could
in-
totally be a Minnesota
Yeah,
thing.
I'm typing in hammock pronunciation Minnesota.
I'm going to play it into the microphone. Okay? Here's what, first of all, Google says it's supposed to be.
Hammock.
Okay, yeah.
Yep.
And then type in hammock
there's-
pronunciation Minnesota. See if you can get anything.
Then this is the British pronunciation,
Oh,
by the way.
okay. Let's hear that.
Hammock.
Okay,
Sounds the same.
pretty much the same.
Yeah. And then you said Minnesota? There's a whole Reddit thread here.
Oh, I
Okay.
found a Reddit thread. I'm on the Reddit thread right now. It's a very long post basically saying, how do you pronounce the word hammock? I've lived all over the world, but I'm originally from Madison, Wisconsin. I say a variety of the generic Wisconsin pronunciations, but the one that gets me the weirdest look is how I pronounce hammock. It goes on. So one person responded and said, hold up.
Kristen, I think my Reddit thread's better than yours.
No,
Well,
I
let
just
Kristen-
saw the answer.
Let Kristen cook.
I can't believe this.
Okay, one person responded and said, I lived all over the country. Everywhere else is hammock. Only in Wisconsin do I ever hear hammock. And I always, at first, think they're saying ham hock.
Oh,
Okay.
that's real Southern. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm in the Reddit hammocks thread, okay? And someone said, so while I have you all here, how do you say hammock, or how do you pronounce hammock? Leave how you pronounce it phonetically and where you are from. I pronounce it ham, as in the meat, and mock, as in taunting someone. So hammock.
Okay.
Hammock.
So this
I'm
is a
from
thing.
They say I'm from Pennsylvania. So
Oh.
this disproves Kristen's state.
No, it doesn't.
Where they say I've only heard it here, right?
Well, I was saying it's like got to be in that region.
Yeah. Well, then they said the main reason I'm asking is because I know in the U.S. I've heard people say hammock, haymick, haymock, and also hammock. And then they've got a whole list of people. Alabama, hammock. Tennessee agrees. So does Philly. Louisiana, hammock. Like with a U.
Hammock. Okay. That's a new one.
Yeah. Hammock. Canada, I can't say Canada. Canada says hammock. And
Okay,
we got
shout out
hammock.
to Canada.
Yeah, shout out. Hammock in Florida as well. Hammock.
This person says I pronounce it hammock, but
and
they didn't say where
where
they were.
from because of the shame.
Wow, guys.
Hammock from Minnesota.
Okay.
Mystery
Yeah.
solved.
We found
right.
it.
Too bad we solved it before Chase could do a
Yeah.
YouTube video on it.
Yeah.
And Chase would have taken
nice.
3 hours
Yeah.
to solve it.
This week, I've been trying to figure out why they keep saying hammock. Now, this episode, when they first started talking about the hammock, I thought there's no way they're talking about hammocks.
And that brings me to this episode's red herring. If you didn't know,
This episode is brought to you by Temu. You know, it's,
hey, but you know, Chase is successful. That's the reason why we have so many things we can mock, because
Yeah.
we've all seen them.
you mick him. You
You know?
mean?
Yeah, we make
We're-
him. You're right.
Yeah,
You're right.
muck him,
Wow,
you know?
excellent
Whoa.
riff, Jonathan. That's
Thank
why I
you,
made
thank
you
you.
host today, even though I
That's
kept
right.
bringing up my notes like as if I was the host anyway.
I'm firing all cylinders
And then
to
we
make
get-
up for my last episode.
We got if firing on all cylinders is us getting into a deep dive about Reddit threads about the pronunciation of
Yeah.
hammock.
I also love that we just had a conversation with Chase where we were like, do we ever do an episode where we just read Reddit threads? And he was like, probably not. What do you think? And
Yeah.
He's gone, we've just read
Only
2.
today.
Hey, well, we needed that information, and Reddit was a good place to get it.
Yeah, he's just a hater, you know?
So
Anyway.
I mean, I there's a deleted scene on here. Do you want to listen to that and then get out of here?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, there's 2 of them. I don't know. Should we play both? Because
I say play both of them.
all right,
Yeah, if it sucks, just cut it out.
Yeah.
We'll just talk about both.
Yeah.
all right.
I
the
hope it's
first
more
one,
talk about elbows.
It's not. The first one is I don't want to make fire.
Oh.
25.
Insane.
Only one more mark is going up on that tree.
That is insane.
We're almost done. This is pretty huge. There's today, and there's tomorrow, and then the game's over. Like, we're so close to the end, but all we have next is one final immunity challenge.
Tree mail. Okay.
Alrighty. Round and round.
I could have cut the first 36 seconds of that.
Yeah, wait a second. What was that?
You want to just pretend it starts here?
Sure.
All right.
Round and so it goes. Anxieties keep growing higher. A sudden lapse of concentration and you might be making fire.
That sounds like something Banu would say.
Yeah. It does feel a little Banu coded.
All right, back to Camilla.
Emotion. It's either Samotion or... I really hope that I can pull out this final immunity challenge. It would be such a relief to be able to know that I'm guaranteed the final 3 if I could win that individual immunity today. And that's all I'm focusing on right now. I'm just thinking about trying to win the final challenge today.
Our last challenge.
No
No matter what, this is our last challenge.
No more
Let's just have some freaking fun, guys.
Yes,
Yeah.
seriously. This is how you plead your case right here.
Yeah.
I don't want to get fired.
Give it everything you've got. This is it.
I am so ready for
Wait,
this.
I don't want to get
I don't want
fired.
to get fired. It really took me out for a second. I was like, what are we talking about?
Does she mean I don't want to get put in the fire, and she's just saying it that way to mean that, or is she saying like I don't want to get you're fired? You know, I don't.
Yeah, that's like kicked off the show. I think she meant it as a
Fired.
pun, right? Like,
I feel like she meant fired, like go to fire.
yeah.
All right, let's find out. Back to Eva.
This final push. I am ready to rip. This is the last challenge I get to compete in. I'm gonna put it all on the line. I'm gonna put my entire body, my heart, everything into this challenge. I hope that I can pull out a win.
Today is by far the biggest challenge, biggest stakes, largest consequences. I love being right in the pressure cooker.
Winning this challenge is about being a competitor, giving it your all, pushing yourself to your limits. But at the end of the day, I want to steer this game my own way.
Wow.
Well, I can see why
That
that
was
was
so
deleted.
exciting.
Yeah, good job, editors.
Yeah, the editors, I feel like they made such a good decision there because I was sitting here thinking, this sucks.
Yeah, I'll leave it in this show just so we can talk about how boring it was. It's like, why did they even cut that together in the first place? I don't know.
Oh man, another boring part of this season.
I kind of
Hater
it's
Kristen.
kind of like, wow, yeah, Kristen sounds like the rest of Reddit right now.
No, I didn't hate the season. I mean, it was like it's
You
just
won
a
the
totally
season.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
How can I hate when I'm a winner? But I think there's just a different approach that this season's cast took,
Yeah.
and we don't see that
Yeah.
a lot. So like that in and of itself can be entertaining.
Yeah, and kind of the entertaining people ended up leaving pretty
Yeah,
fast.
Say and Cedric leaving was a huge blow.
Mary leaving was sad, you know.
Mary
like-
made it to the second to last episode though, so at least we
Yeah.
got
Yeah.
like almost the full run of the show with Mary.
That's true. That's true.
I feel like Stephanie, who was voted out in the first tribal,
Who?
Stephanie Berger.
I feel
Oh,
like she would have been a fun person to watch.
I mean,
Yeah.
I remember.
She was kind of like, wasn't she kind of like
Sabermetrics.
Oh,
Oh,
just remember
sabermetrics. Yeah,
yeah.
dude. Oh, I got you now. Okay, yeah, I remembered about as much about Stephanie as I did, this whole after show. So,
Well, there wasn't a lot to remember because it's not like she had a Brandon Donlin ladder moment, which Brandon, who follows us now, by the way.
yeah, shout out Brandon, Yeah, I mean, this season as a whole, at one point I told Kristen I felt a little bored and that I didn't even know how much I cared about the finale. And now that was several weeks ago. And then I started caring a lot. And then I watched the finale and was just like, we've won. That's how I felt the whole time.
No, I felt like I hit rock bottom when Mary got voted out because it was like
Yeah.
these weeks of they're
Yeah.
not making a move and then we lose one of our favorite people on the show.
Yeah, and you just know that that's kind of the end of the moves. Like, it's
Yeah.
not going to...
yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, the way she went out was just kind of like, there's nothing you can do. It's going to be you.
Yeah.
Like,
At
Yeah.
least, Chase had an epic crash out about it. At least we got that.
yeah.
That's true. He had a beautiful eulogy, beautiful sermon, pastor, is what I told him right after.
And then he got attacked by Bramble Jam security and thrown down the stairs.
Oh, I forgot about that.
That was wild.
Yeah. I didn't know Bramble Jam had that kind of budget happening, but it was just,
Yeah.
glad they got him.
There's one more scene. Are we going to do it or is it going to be just as
Let's
boring
do
as
it.
the
We might as well. We're going to call this episode the most boring episode that has ever happened on this.
because we're dedicating a whole episode to the thing that we were all agreeing is the lamest thing ever, the after
This
show.
Here's what you title this, PD. Here's your title for the Sanctuary episode. The episode to fall asleep to.
Yeah.
This is the one they
Chill
could just put on. Yeah.
chill podcast to study to.
Yeah. Dude, please put lo-fi music behind the entire episode.
Oh gosh. I might just do it for this section.
Yeah,
Like up
yeah.
until the end of the podcast. But
Right about now.
yeah. But I mean the next thing I was gonna do is go into a scene.
Leave it.
Play the scene over top the lo-fi.
Oh gosh. I don't even know if it'll let me do that. Let's find out.
Yeah.
But this one's called After the Fire Making. Fingers crossed it's gonna be more interesting.
Just cross that something good happens.
Yeah.
feel like I just walked into the palace.
Yeah, we freaking did it.
Oh, yeah, you guys.
Come here. At Tribal Council, Eva, my friend, the person that I know she is, the strong competitor that she is, she got up there and she made fire. I'm so proud of her.
Crushed it.
That was the lamest.
Oh, girl.
That was the lamest way you could ever recap anything.
That was 25 seconds, dude. 25 seconds.
Oh my goodness. Literally just nothing. The bare minimum description. That was it. Eva, my friend, went up and made fire.
And she did it.
She did it. And she's back here.
Normally I would cut this whole thing out of the show, but it's like it fits the theme.
It's valuable.
Yeah, this is the podcast about boring stuff, so I'm going to leave it all in. All right.
I love that it's happening.
Maybe we should talk about how Jonathan has stubbed his toe twice in the past day.
Okay, fine.
Twice in one day.
Dude, no. Okay,
ripped off two of his toenails.
This is true, dude. Okay,
this is more interesting.
Yeah, this is just kind of
than the episode.
If people really wonder what kind of a life I lead, outside of the podcast. Yesterday, I'm walking up a step at my parents, and the cat runs in front of me, and my toe comes down because I was wearing sandals. Okay. And my big toenail gets caught on the stair and pulls up. And I was like, okay, that sucks. And then today I'm in the grocery store wearing the same sandals. And I go to walk past my shopping cart and I stub my pinky toenail on the cart and rip my pinky toenail off. And I could have lost it.
So just Jonathan has no spatial awareness. Is that what it is?
I don't know what's happening. I've never had something like that happen before.
Hey,
but
we've got 2 minutes left on this clip, by the way.
Oh,
should we play it or should we not?
Yeah, play it, because why are we talking about my feet?
It's like charity all over.
I thought it was more interesting.
Yeah,
I mean, Kristen does have a point.
Into my feet,
All right, back to Kyle.
Awesome.
Thanks for believing in me, guys.
No, yeah, of course.
I'm in the final 3. I did it. I made fire. I earned my spot. It's crazy to think that after all this time, it's going to be over, and I get to be sitting up there tomorrow
another
my
bare
case.
minimum interview.
That's crazy. How crazy is it that you and I are here together, Joe? You know how wild that is?
Literally the same
From day one, and that we stuck by that. No one dared split us apart.
Eva, in front of everybody, all of us watching,
she won.
Overcome one of her biggest fears, and despite her challenges today, she made fire, and it was epic. And she's with us in the final 3.
You know what?
Hey, I don't know.
Yeah, the toenail thing is better.
Yeah, maybe
there was definitely more drama with the toenail thing, but I mean, what do you think about everybody stating the obvious over and over? I mean, usually with the deleted scenes where they had funny stuff in them, or there was something interesting to talk about, but not this time.
I mean, this may just show how truly uneventful the season was.
The editors are probably over there like, we did our best, you guys.
Yeah, the editors are just like, oh, thank goodness.
Well, and the finale was a good episode.
Yeah, it was great. And like I think there were a lot of great moments in the season, but I think that they probably grabbed every great moment that they could and put it in the episodes. Yeah,
just like PD does with our podcast.
Yeah, thank you, PD.
That's a great point. You have no idea how much stuff I have to cut out of this. It'll be like Jonathan going on rants about his, like, he's like, oh, my brain, Chick-fil-A contract, and all this different stuff.
Wow, PD, wow, but you put me in charge of this episode, and now
there's a minute left on this clip, by the way.
Dude, you gotta be kidding me.
We're still going.
You put me in charge of this episode, and it feels like sabotage. You said Jonathan's in charge. By the way, this is going to go down as the worst episode of The Sanctuary.
Was there a plan going into it? Maybe. Did it work exactly how I wanted it to? Yes.
I'll take it. I'm just glad to be part of something.
Back to Joe or whoever.
Good deal. I'm going to be pissed at you guys if you aren't all smiles tomorrow. Because you know what?
Oh, yeah.
Even when someone's throwing hate,
All smiles,
smile
baby.
your ass off. You want to know why? They were sitting in victory lane.
Yeah.
Yeah. We won. I mean, we
We
nobody
are
snuffed
the
our
victors
torches.
here.
We definitely won. That's just a phrase. We literally
They're
won.
just saying now. They're just saying we won
They're just
over and
saying
over
we
again.
won.
Like,
and I'm like, no,
I'm like,
actually,
two of y'all are losers.
well, I guess they all get
Yeah.
money, right? And they get
they
the
do,
better.
but one of them gets a lot more money.
Yeah, it's significant. Like it's not just oh, you got $50 more than me.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I guess it's just a surreal experience,
yeah.
being a
All right.
fan and doing all that.
Are you going to tell me there's another minute left of it?
I'm not lying. There's another minute and 12 seconds.
You know,
Let's get
just
it
hit
all
it. Yeah.
Okay.
over.
At the end of the day, I've always said this. I remember sitting at home thinking, if I could just get to 3.
Yeah.
You really can't lose because
What's with everyone
you're
not,
not
wanting to
voted
say
out. You're just not voted in.
Our torches are not getting snuffed.
Ever.
Our torches are never getting snuffed.
Never
guys.
got
The
snuffed.
eternal
When
flame.
it comes to going into a jury, tomorrow's going to be hard. But I really feel the 3 of us deserve to be here. So I just told them, head up, chin up, and you smile. You smile right at them. You know what they can't take is what we just did. So
40 more seconds. Or wait, 36
Oh,
more
okay.
seconds.
Try not to die challenge.
One of us will be a millionaire. Yeah. That's crazy.
One of us
Crazy.
will be a millionaire.
I earned my place in the final
Dude,
3,
how are
and I'm
they
gonna battle
still
like hell to
talking?
convince that jury that I deserve to be here too. And I hope that I convince them of that.
16 more seconds.
Exactly. Oh my god, this is the best it could have been.
we did it.
Holy.
We did it. They can't take the promise.
Woo!
I see why they kept the fishing montage this season.
Yeah.
The Making the Merge podcast.
Shout out to Rob.
Yeah, shout out Rob. No, that
Yeah,
was,
we got to get out of here. We've done
that was
51
awful.
minutes of nonsense, I feel like.
Yeah, well, people look. This is all people have right now, Survivor content wise.
You guys
You know?
better enjoy it.
Yeah, savor this whole experience, guys. I mean, with the lo-fi music playing under it, right, PD?
Yeah, right now.
Yeah. Oh dude, freaked out this thing. This is the song I made and didn't listen to.
Oh,
Dude, can you imagine you just played this on a loop under the rest of the episode?
Yeah.
I like the horns. Yeah, there they are. There they are again.
The Making the Merge podcast.
Dude, you should just end it right there.
Yeah,
I'm
I should.
serious.
You know what?
should
I'll
just
end
make
it.
terrible.
What if I end it right here?
You're about to hear some ads that help keep the lights on here in the old studio. Thanks for listening or don't listen. It's really up to you at this point. It's at the end of the show. I mean, you're listening to me. Hi. But here they come. I promise they're coming. Yep, here they are. Happy day.